Let's talk about racist women. So there's still this persistent idea that women were innocent, and especially down here in the South, that they really just followed what their men did. So they couldn't be held responsible for things like slavery, segregation, etc. Except for it's all wrong. Here's why. So this book came out about 5 years ago. They Were Her Property: White Women as Slave Owners in the American South. It was written by a scholar over at Berkeley. This is her. And she, Dr. Jones Rogers, looked through a lot of the bills of sale for enslaved people down here in the South and saw that around 30% of enslaved people were bought and sold by white women. Do you want to know why that number is so big? It's because of coverture laws that we had down here in the South for women. Essentially, it was really difficult for women to own property outside of what their fathers and husbands owned. The exception to that, of course, being enslaved people, which meant that a lot of the times fathers would will enslaved people to their daughters to make sure that their daughters had some form of money in payment in case the marriage didn't work out. Then, of course, a lot of white women, especially those who were wealthy enough to purport to own people, they couldn't make their own money, but they could benefit from the money that their enslaved people earned. And what did they do with that money that they earned? They reinvested that money back into their slaveholding, and they essentially encouraged the people that they enslaved to reproduce. I'm trying to say this in a way that will get me banned, but I think we all know what we mean. Which of course increased their investment. So think about it this way, right? If enslaved people are one of the only ways that the wealthier white women had of attaining their economic freedom, then of course they chose their own freedom over the freedom of others, right? Which means that they were also really afraid of losing slavery, which means that they were super active in the Civil War, and also means they were super active in segregation later on because they were bitter as hell that they lost their freedom. And that's how they get you. They make it so that you have to choose between your own freedom or the freedom of someone else. Don't fall for it.